Hello, happy Tuesday.
Hello, everyone.
Welcome to Travel Talk Live. I am Meredith Hill with the Global Institute for Travel Entrepreneurs, and today we have a special guest.
Hi, I'm Jen Cochran.
Also with the Global Institute for Travel Entrepreneurs. We are here yet again for our who knows what number episode of Travel Talk Live.
I think it's 13.
It is 13. Ooh, lucky 13. That's my lucky number. It's my birth date. So thank you for joining us. Give us some love. Show us some thumbs ups and hearts if you're joining us repetitively. You've been here before, and now it's part of your weekly routine. We love that. We absolutely love that. Our intention with Travel Talk Live is somewhat of a roll-off from the Book More Travel workshop. After that was over this year, every year it gets better and better, and we get more and more positive feedback about how much people have enjoyed that experience. And so this year we were like, how do we continue this throughout the year? How do we bottle up this energy that we managed to create for everybody, this
and
good
continue
feeling?
the dialogue and
Yep.
sort of the virtual community of everybody coming together
Exactly.
and thinking about things.
And so what's come out of that is this Travel Talk Live. So our intention with Travel Talk Live every single week is to educate, first of all. Very important to bring you content, because we are kind of on the cutting edge. As business coaches, we're seeing hundreds of travel businesses, if not thousands, a year, and we have some concept of what's working and what's not, I would like to say. Second mission with Travel Talk Live is to just energize, just bring up the energy, because you work from home, a lot of you, and even if you don't work from home, it can be easy to get caught in a rut, something we're going to kind of talk about today, later.
Yeah.
Little tease
Get
there.
focused too much inward and
Yeah.
not look up and around as much as you should.
And then last but not least, to entertain, because we want to entertain, we want to make you laugh. We feel like we're pretty good at it. At some point, we're going to get Caroline to figure out how to have a little intro music.
Yeah.
So that it can be a little more lively when we start.
Vanessa will have us dancing if
True.
she does that.
That's very true. That's very true. So welcome to Travel Talk Live. It's every single Tuesday at noon on the Global Institute for Travel Entrepreneurs fan page. You don't have to be a gift member to watch it. It's free for everybody. I just want to see us. Here we go. Just make sure we've got this so we can read your questions. All right, so we have a good day today. We've got a lot of good stuff to talk about today. We have a business tip, we have a mindset tip, we have what's going on in travel, and we have a member shout out. So I actually want to begin with the business tip and just introduce it, and then do the member shout out, and then come back to diving deep into the business tip. So our business tip that we came up with today, because we have Miss Strategy here. Some of you may or may not know Jen, and one of the things she's absolutely, my assigned brilliance, the brilliance that I think that Jen has, that she wouldn't necessarily put it this way, but I put it this way, is if something is on her desk, if it's her responsibility, she knows how to make it move forward. She is incredibly brilliant at always progress, always moving forward on any project, whatever it is. It will not sit if it's in her hands. So one of the ways you have to do that is to be strategic. And so that is today's business tip, is take time to be strategic in your business. And she's going to dive deep into that in a second. But we want to do today's member shout out is someone who has done a really good job of not being strategic and then moving into a place of being strategic. And now,
I would say she's always been strategic, but she's really honed the ability to be really strategic in a way that's really, her business is just doing phenomenally.
Doing amazing, unbelievably well now because of it. So, member shout out goes to Sandy Lipkowitz of We Make Travel Easy. Yay, Sandy!
Yeah. So
Congrats.
Sandy's doing awesome and is also one of our favorite people.
Yeah.
She's
Exactly.
fabulous.
Exactly. All right, so hello everybody. We're getting lots of highs. Hi. Send us more love. We like the love. All right. So Jen, why don't you dive deep into the business tip of taking time to be strategic, starting with why? Like, what happens if you're not?
Well, maybe I should start with what I mean. Like, what does that mean? Be strategic. Mm-hmm. And I think that, there isn't like a specific way of acting strategic, but it's really just about getting out of the weeds and taking time to look at things from like the 10,000 foot perspective, or, really being sort of aligned with your vision and the big picture of your business. The opposite of being strategic is what most of us do every day, right? Yeah. We've got our to-do list, and we've got phone calls and the emails dinging, and we've got, all these things that we're trying to accomplish, and it's very much about the productivity and just moving, to tick the next box. And we're not really thinking about it in the context of the biggest picture, the bigger picture, and why we're doing it, and what sort of the ultimate end goal is, or, what we want to see in the future for ourselves. And so by being strategic, what I'm talking about is taking time, and I like to do it in a structured way, like specifically scheduling time like we do for our business once a quarter, where we take a couple days and really take time to just really focus on the big picture for your business. What is your big vision? What, not just for your business, but also for your lifestyle, because I think as, entrepreneurs and business owners, the two go hand in hand.
Right.
What does that look like? And what is the direction that you want to take that business, and really being clear about where you want to get to. Because if you're really clear about where you want to get to, whatever that looks like, then you can achieve it. But if you're not clear on where you want to get to, there's no way you can achieve it, because you're just sort of moving aimlessly, and you're doing a lot of busy work without a lot of intention behind it.
Absolutely true. The other thing that being strategic does for you is it helps you understand when something's not working.
Yes. That's true.
Because you could be stuck in the weeds and just continue to do something. I mean, something as simple as maybe there's some kind of follow-up system that you have in place, and it's not really working, it's not really effective. But if you don't take the time to be strategic and kind of measure where you are relative to your goals, and you're never going to figure out that it's actually not working and there's a better way to do it.
Yeah, and it also, I think, helps you being more strategic. Also, is being more intentional, and basically building a business by design instead of by default. By being clear about what that vision is and the path that you want to take to continue to move forward to the next iteration of your business. And if you don't do that, it's like you kind of can keep propelling the same sorts of business practices that are keeping you stuck where you are. And that could have to do with also the kinds of clients that you're working with, right? If you're on this sort of hamster wheel and you're doing all these, it's transaction, and you're not really thinking about the context in which you're doing those transactions and directing them in a way that's going to be most fulfilling and most lucrative for your business, then you'll just kind of keep you on the hamster wheel.
Right. Absolutely. Hey guys, what kind of questions do you have about this topic? Just let us know if you have any questions about this. So being strategic is, it can take many forms, right? Like Jen just said. I mean, it can be something as simple as every single day you have 15 minutes where you just, look at your calendar, look at your to-do list, and maybe, one of the things in the Make Money Selling Travel Blueprint is that productivity sheet. It's a one-sheeter. That could be your way of being strategic every single day. But what other suggestions do you have, so that for someone who's totally not strategic at all?
That's not true. You're strategic.
What?
You're not regimented.
Yeah, that's true.
I think it's, really the important part about being strategic, I believe it's really important to actually schedule time to be strategic, to step, out of the weeds of your business and take time to think about it from the top down, from the vision, all the way through, and, a lot of what we teach in terms of looking at your revenue drivers and things like that. But I also think on a daily basis that it's taking time to get out of that, to step off the hamster wheel, so that doesn't mean don't do your to-do list, because obviously you've got to do what you've got to do during the day, but take time to look at it in the bigger picture, to have some context. And so if that means, doing it in a structured way, you've got a productivity sheet that's going to help you keep it all in context, so you're doing it more by intent than by default, that's going to be helpful. If there's certain personal practices that you have, like Meredith runs every morning, I also exercise in the morning, or taking some time to do something that's not diving into your inbox the second that you wake up and pick your phone off the nightstand, so that you, just have time to get back in touch with the overarching reason of why you're doing it in the first place. Because what happens when you don't, I think, is, we're saying do this, and everybody's probably saying, well, yeah, that makes sense. I don't want to be on a hamster wheel. I want to be running my business, by design instead of by default. Because what happens if you don't, and you're caught up in all the day-to-day and the details and everything? First of all, it's very hard to, if you're not tapped into your vision, it's very hard to stay energy. Your energy level is going to start to feel drained. You're going to start to feel depleted. You start to feel sort of, beaten down a little bit, and it's not as much fun.
Exactly.
When you feel that way. It's not as much fun. And to also, tap into some of the things that Meredith says sometimes. What happens when you get that way and you're feeling sort of run down, and you're feeling like it's not very fun, and you're feeling like it's sort of a burden to be dealing with your clients because you've got this, constant barrage of stuff coming at you all the time.
It feels like it's a burden to deal with their clients.
When you start to hate your clients, that's when you know that it's time to take a step back and start looking at the big picture and tapping back into your vision, because it's not fulfilling and it doesn't feel fun. And when you feel drained, it's also really hard to come from a place of giving. You feel like you're coming from a needy, like more desperate place. Right. And that's, maybe you could speak to what that does.
Well, that's our mindset tip of the week that plays off of, the business tip, which is, so the mindset tip of the week comes from today's Easing article. Who's read it yet? Give me a thumbs up if you've already read today's Easing article. I think you're gonna like it because it's the secret. What was it called? The simple secret to attracting super affluent clients. And what it comes down to is today's mindset tip, which is neediness repels and completeness attracts. And I learned this a long time ago. Still kind of learning it, but basically, the way you attract, the simple secret to attracting super affluent clients is the same as attracting anything into your life, which is come from a giving place as opposed to a getting place. And if you want to attract super affluent clients, you have to get rid of that neediness vibe, because that repels. My favorite example is when you're in the shopping mall and there's all those little kiosks and they're trying to get you to buy something. And I feel like a broken record saying this because I feel like I tell the story all the time. But basically, if that person comes chasing you with that hair straightener, don't you want to try my hair straightener? Your immediate reaction all the time is,
no, thank you.
No, thank you. No, don't make eye contact.
Right, yeah. Move past that as fast as possible.
Exactly. And the reason why you repel, you withdraw, don't make eye contact, is because that person's coming from a getting place. So we've all had that experience when someone's approached you and they're coming from a getting place. Now that's kind of extreme. I'm not saying you're doing that in your travel business on a daily basis, but if there is even a tiny sliver of neediness going on where, oh my God, I really need more clients this week or this month, I really need to make more bookings, I really need to make more money, I really need to show my spouse that this is actually something that's viable, whatever it is, if there's any sliver of that, it's going to come out in your marketing, and your people, your prospects are going to feel it. So
and also, anytime anything feels forced, if you're forcing something, the people on the other side feel that energy of it feeling forced.
Absolutely.
And it doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel natural.
And the only time it ever feels forced is because you're coming from this place, and it's a comfortable place. Quite honestly, it's somewhat how we're schooled. Just get this done, do the next thing. Because you need to get the good grade, or you need to get the approval or the accolades, right? So realize that when it comes to what you're doing, I recommend that you discover your brilliance. You know, you really identify, what is this value that I have that I'm going to share with my people. Sometimes people struggle with what their brilliance is. That's okay. You'll figure it out at some point. The more curious you get, the closer you'll get. And the other thing that I said recently to a travel MBA student, and I think this really helped her shift from that getting place to the giving place. And not only that, but owning, like, oh, actually, I do have something to offer. Is I said to her, in any given experience with someone, there's often that person is the solution, right? Like, there's a lot of times in your life where you want something and the solution comes in the form of another person. Well, in your travel business, you're the solution, and your clients are the people who are asking for something. And it's all it is your job to find the person who's looking for the solution that you have. And not everybody's going to be asking for that solution. So it's okay when someone says no, because they're just not looking for the solution. But if you can think of it as you have a solution to share, and all your work is to put it out there so that the right people can find that solution.
Which I like the way that you reframe that, because when you said your job is to find the people, I feel like it's more like your job is to put it out there, because the people are for sure there. You don't have to really, it shouldn't be a lot of effort to find these people. They're abundant.
But if you don't put it out there, then they don't know you have it.
But once you put it out there, then they'll recognize that match with them, and then you will attract them.
So how do you flip that I need thinking? This is how you do it, Stephanie, is you really own your value. You see yourself as a solution, and then you realize that there are people who really need your solution, but they don't know you have it. So it's your job to put it out there. That's it. It's your job to put it out there. And don't be attached to who shows up as a client. Don't need it to be a certain way, or don't worry about the how it's going to show up. You're just focus on putting it out there. And when you shift into that place, you're going to come off as complete, right? And we've all felt this. We've all felt interacting with that person who's chasing you with a hair straightener.
Right.
And then we felt the opposite, where someone comes to sell something to you, but they're having a conversation with you, they're curious, they're asking you questions, and then they're basically advising you, okay, well, if now that I know the answers to these questions, my advice, my prescription is this. And maybe that's another way you can look at it, is like you're a pharmacist giving, or a doctor giving them a prescription, as opposed to someone trying to sell them something.
I think part of that too is being really clear on what you want. Which kind of goes back to the whole strategic thinking thing, right? If you're really clear about what you want for your business, then you can absolutely achieve it. But if you're not clear, you can't. And I think that's true in terms of, putting your brilliance out there, and understanding that the right client for you, your ideal client, is out there, but also being clear about who that person is really important too.
Right.
And Absolutely. It's also true when it comes to like hiring somebody or an assistant or anything like that. You have to be really clear on what it is that you want, what you're looking for, and then you'll attract what you want.
Right. Actually, we could take something from that affirmation prayer, the piece that I really liked. So we had a lovely visit today in our office with a gift member who comes once a year. She's not from the area, but she does come and visit because she has children and grandchildren that live here. And she gave us all this affirmation prayer. And one very short sentence from the affirmation prayer is, my desire... Wait, what was it? My desires desire my desire me.
Yeah. I think that's
my desires desire me. And I love thinking of it that way. It's like, oh wow. So let's put that into practical perspective. I want super affluent clients who are going to spend $30,000 or more on every vacation they take with me. And if that's your desire, those people desire you too, right? They absolutely do. You can't have that desire without people out there desiring you back. So that's another way to shift into this giving place as opposed to getting, because they are out there. They do want you. They are looking for you. You're just not putting yourself out there in the right way. So Barbara had a question. If a client asked and then doesn't call back, and then you call her back, is that being needy? And the answer is no. Actually, Barbara, I think what you're doing is you're assigning a meaning to her lack of response. Don't do that. You don't have to assign a meaning to it. And someone who is feeling totally complete doesn't assign a meaning. They just, they didn't call me back. I'll just try one more time.
Think about it as being helpful. If you are feeling like an intuition to give that person a call, that probably means that's going to be helpful for you to follow up with them, and they're going to appreciate the follow-up.
Exactly. I mean, how many times have you dropped the ball yourself where you called a service provider, you needed help with something, and they called you back and you just got busy? And, it wasn't that you didn't want their help. It's just maybe you went on vacation. Or maybe you had something big come up at work and you were just consumed with work and you didn't have time to actually get back to them yet. So never take it personally. Never assume. Never ever assume.
So going back to the whole strategy concept, being strategic is about taking time, having some daily practices so that you can sort of take a breather and re-energize and everything, but then more systematically, periodically sitting down and really taking the time to be very clear on that overall picture of what you want for your business and your lifestyle that goes along with your business, what you want, what kinds of clients you want to be working with, because you know what your brilliance is, and articulating that brilliance and being really clear on that. And then given those things, understanding the rest of what's going to kind of make up your strategic plan, right? So given that, what do your marketing systems look like? What sort of, where are your clients hanging out? What are you going to be doing for list building? How are you going to engage those clients? Being really clear on your numbers and what does that look like if you want to reach a certain financial goal. It can all fall together really easily when you take the time to be really clear about that big picture, and then just have some sort of a strategic map that's going to help you get from where you are to what you want it to look like.
For sure. Having a strategic map is so important. And I think a lot of people are almost afraid to have that strategic map because they think that's going to create a lot more items on their to-do list.
But it's not. It's just going to give you focused items on your to-do list, so they're intentional. Because let's face it, your to-do list, no matter what you have going on, you're always going to be busy. I mean, I think it's sort of human nature that whatever time we have, we fill, right?
Yes.
And so you can fill it with a lot of sort of churning, less productive stuff, or you can fill it with things that are going to be propelling you forward and helping you get to the next level in a way that actually has you working a lot less. Because it shouldn't be hard. It really shouldn't be hard. When it comes together, it feels good. It feels easy. That doesn't mean that you aren't doing things. It's just that the things that you're doing them from an inspired place, so it doesn't feel so much like work.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think that sometimes people have a misconception that when they hire someone like a coach, that they're going to get like so much instruction on what to do.
Here's what you do.
And I think people hesitate because they're like, I want balance.
I don't want homework. Don't give me homework.
Exactly. But I think it's important to understand that as business coaches, we have a very different philosophy. We do not have that mentality of you need to do more to get more. There's no, work harder to make more mentality going on here. And that's what I love about being strategic. And I think what Jen is so brilliant at is she's going to be strategic, keeping in mind that you have a certain life balance that you want to keep, and so
get to because your strategic plan can be largely helping you to get to that balance. I mean, that's one of the things I love doing the most as a coach, actually, is all the business development and marketing stuff and everything that we do is awesome, but I really love helping people really get to that vision and help bring it to fruition by helping them get really clear on what that strategic vision looks like, but then also like a really easy phased plan to get them from where they are to that place that doesn't feel overwhelming.
I think a perfect example is Marion Rose.
Yeah.
Elgin Travel. I always want to say Elgin because there's a town in Illinois that's, you pronounce it Elgin, but she's all the way up in Canada in Elgin, Ontario, I think. And she's got a brick and mortar. When she came to us, it was several years ago, when she came to us, she had this great, what looked like it was a great, successful, thriving business. She had 5
It was
employees.
financially.
It was. It was. She was doing great. She was getting awards. She was rocking it, right? Yeah. But she was miserable. She was exhausted. She was working way more than she ever wanted to. She had, she was about to enter, empty nested phase, and her husband had just retired, really recently retired. And now he's, in her ear, like, why are you working so much?
Yeah.
Maybe
she's
it's time
starting
to sell
to
the
resent
business.
her business. Yeah.
And that was what Jen did. Jen helped her phase it out, and Jen helped her work a whole lot less. And
and part of that was really about the team building part,
yes.
And helping her reimagine what her office environment looked like and how to empower the people that she worked with. And they really came into their own too.
Oh
so
my
that's
gosh.
what I love about her story so much is that she's got all this freedom and she's happier, but so are the people that work with her.
Oh
because
my gosh,
they're
so happy. They're
just
empowered. They're inspired. All the people who are working for her now, because all Jen did was help her restructure their responsibilities and hire someone. And so ironically, 3 years later, she's making more. Her business is even more successful. She's probably working half the time. I mean, she takes 2 or 3 days a week off, and she's living the life, and she's just happy. She loves it. And she's got these ladies in her office that are so happy. They love what they do. And that wasn't the case. I mean, I think everyone was kind of grumpy and ornery.
Well, she was sort of feeling like she had to pull them along, and it was all about her. And empowerment is really just having the opposite effect and helping people, come into their own so that you don't have to tell them what to do, or you don't have to. Yeah.
Exactly. All right, so on to the last segment.
So Barbara McPherson says, Jen,
when are you available? Well, actually, Jen is available. We do have some business consulting slots available right now between now and the end of the year. So if you want, go ahead and email us at info@travelbusinessu.com, and we can just get you set up with a time. I think Vanessa's actually opened some time.
Well, I'm happy to talk to people too.
Want to talk to them too?
I'm available while Vanessa's away, so I'm happy to talk to people. So you can, if you're seriously interested in business consulting or specifically want to understand more like how I help clients or whatever, you can just feel free to email me directly at jen@travelbusinessu.com.
Well, there you go. Okay, so the last segment, we have a few minutes left. Last segment of our show is what's going on in travel, and we didn't want to skip this because there's something kind of big here going on in travel, and not yet. But Vanessa is already up in Canada. She is leaving tonight, flying to Peru tonight, and we'll be meeting all of her travelers on her Insight Vacations Gold Standard Tour of Peru. I think they start on Saturday evening, coming up this weekend. So that's what's going on in travel. We actually love this idea because it's our sister company that it's taking place under. She's hosting it, but it's not a FAM at all. And I think a lot of people, their perception is that it's a FAM. It's not. We are calling it a hosted experience.
And not everybody on the trip are travel agents.
It's a combination of travel agents and their friends and family, or friends of travel agents. So there's a couple people that have invited their own clients or friends and stuff. So it's a combination of both regular travelers and travel agents. And one of the big reasons, obviously Vanessa's wanted to take people to Peru, but the reason why she went with Insight is because we believe that there's this misconception of what the guided tour experience is, and we want to expose more and more people to the guided tour experience so that we can start to change that misconception.
Particularly on the luxury end, because some of the people who are going on this trip, do a lot of different businesses but haven't really done much in that, guided tour market segment, because people think about it the way it used to be, you know, where, you know, you're herding a bunch of people into a bus or something, and it's a very rigid sort of itinerary, and it's not like that at all anymore. And so this is going to be, everybody should be following Vanessa through this trip, so you can get the different perspective of what this experience is like, because I assure you that it's not going to be anything like that. And it's a really great opportunity, and something that you guys should be looking at in terms of especially your luxury clients and the ways they might want to travel.
Because it's a great way to make money too, selling luxury guided tours. They pay a lot of commissions, and they take a lot of the work off of you. They have great connections. You don't have to worry about your clients once they go. They're in their hands, so it's a really good business decision too. All right, so our time is up. Thank you for joining us today, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye.
Bye.